nice to see you. And thank you for speaking up about something so horrific. To hear that we already have strike teams, if you will, in the country hunting our president. This is insane, Matt.
The 5 teams I was briefed on are just the 5 teams we know about. Sort of like cockroaches in Florida. If you see one, there's probably 10 behind the wall. And I think the last point you made in your monologue is a really important one that I want to draw sharp focus on. Mm-hmm. It's not just that the American people no longer believe in the capability of the Secret Service to protect President Trump or others. It's that the air of invincibility around the Secret Service has really diminished over these last several months, because when you see how close Crooks was able to get, when you see that Ralph wasn't subjected to the type of surveillance that should attach to someone who is literally lying in wait and for quite some time staking out where they're going to take a shot into Trump National, it I think, could inspire other people to be involved in very dangerous activities directed at public officials, not just presidential candidates. And when it comes to these 5 teams, like just imagine how eerie it was for me to hear, like on a Thursday, that there are 5 teams and one of them has connections to Pakistan, one to Iran, one to Ukraine, and then 2 that originated domestically here in the United States. And then you see this Ralph guy who is rhetorically and proverbially wrapped in the Ukrainian flag. So the big question here that we've got to get to is, who was funding Ralph?
Thank you.
Ralph had the resources to travel all over the world, ostensibly to recruit freedom fighters for Ukraine. How many did he actually recruit? Or was that a cover to engage in a bunch of foreign meetings to then do harm and violence here in our country? We don't know, but you have to follow the money. Now, I want to give credit where credit's due. Customs and Border Patrol knew there was something wrong with this guy. When they encountered him at the border and they were looking at where he'd been and what his story was, it didn't make any sense. They asked him who had been funding all of these adventures, and he said his wife. Now, I got a pretty successful wife who would probably fund a hobby or 2 of mine, but not this. And so they said this doesn't make any sense. They sent it to Homeland Security investigations, and you know what? They dropped the case. They don't even follow up. They don't investigate. So the type of violence that you saw attempted against President Trump, that doesn't just happen when one thing breaks down. There are multiple breakdowns here on the intel side, on the Homeland Security investigation side, and certainly on the Secret Service side, where I think Chairman Comer's criticisms are well taken.